he's a people director. Some people have said Jonathan is almost too nice. That's not really true. I've seen him get in somebody's face, and when he got in your face, you know he's been in there. For instance, we're someplace in maybe it's Philadelphia, and it was an outside scene, and some wino was in the way, and the cops grabbed him, and Jonathan literally came apart. Leave the man alone. I'm telling you right now, you know, and he put him in the movie. We paid him. You know, he didn't even know he was in there, but he had that kind of sense of right and wrong.
I don't think he's ever made a film about people, you know, who are just down the mainstream and then had a few problems. They're people at absolutely the margins of society.
Mercy, that Canada's pretty country. All them cows. Mercy's sakes, I've never seen such beauty in one place. Hey, good buddy. Maybe someday we'll meet there, have a doggone good time. How about that?
The parts I like are about characters that are real people, and they may be a little offbeat, and they may be a little strange and anti-establishment, but those are the characters I like to play.
Oh, you beast, you animal, you're driving me crazy. Blaine, stand by, Warlock.
Stand by?
Blaine?
One of the reasons I made this movie, Citizens Band, it was like an old movie from the old days when it was just about people and quirky characters and odd circumstances, and told a story that was told through the Citizens Band radios. So you saw the personalities of the characters come out when they were talking on the radios, as opposed to the way they acted when they weren't on the radios.
There are a lot of voices out there, but yours is different. I like it. What are you wearing?
I was a truck driver, married to, I had two wives, and one on one coast, one on the other coast, and I had a girlfriend in the middle. And I was trying to juggle all three.
Connie! That's yours. How about this?
That was my first film with Jonathan, as I recall.
Most directors, when they start out, they don't get a big budget and they don't get a spectacular story. So they have to be very creative.
And we wanted to say, happy birthday, Pop.
I never called him Pop.
What do you want?
I don't want anything. I just never called him Pop, that's all.
Make it happy birthday, Dad.
Never called him Dad either.
What do you want? Happy birthday, shithead? They won't do that.
I found him to be one of the 2 or 3 directors I've worked with in my career who is truly creative, who really wants to make something special for people, not just a hit, or not just something that will get him a lot of acclaim.
Boy, this looks great.
Yeah, it smells real good, Pop.
And at the same time, he'll go aside with you. Like in Citizens Band, I had the scene where I was supposed to react to the news that my dog had been killed by my father.
Don't eat it. It tastes like horse meat.
Dog meat.
Huh?
You said horse meat.
Yeah.
Dog meat.
So I took Jonathan aside and I said, I don't know, how am I supposed to do this? I mean, this is hard. And he talked me through it, and I came up with a few suggestions.
Pop, where's Ned?
And then I thought of something in my past that was similar to that, where somebody had really tricked me, and he just encouraged me to pursue this. And everybody's waiting. You know, time is money, especially on a movie set. And he led me along. Finally, I found this moment that I could relate to this, and then I tried the scene, the dialogue a couple of times, and he poked me in the arm, and he went, "That's it."
He did it. He really did it.
How you doing, Moose Breast?
Melvin and Howard came either right after that, which is another interesting story because, well, to me it's interesting. I had an agent, a pretty powerful agent. He says, listen, here's the way we do it in Hollywood. We ask for more money and more billing. I go, yeah, but, you know, Jonathan kept me on an extra couple of 3 weeks. It doesn't matter. Don't go getting soft on me. Once you start that in this town, you'll be buried. I go, yeah, but that's kind of like not too nice, you know? I mean, so Jonathan finally called me, and he said, you're going to wimp out on me or what? He said, I need you for a couple of days for Melvin and Howard. Now, you're going to wimp out on me, or are you going to listen to Hollywood? I said, I'll be there. So I lost the agent, but I still have Jonathan Demme.
Come on, let's go. Go,
Okay, well, let me tell you how it started. Prior to that, I had made a movie called Car Wash, which is probably before everybody's time. And the guy that cast Car Wash for me, his name is Don Phillips, desperately after that insisted he wanted to be a movie producer. And I said, hey, Don, here's the thing. You come up with a good idea. It's something I like. I'll produce it with you. And it's a mistake to ever tell anybody this, by the way, no matter how good you like Melvin and Howard.
Howard Hughes died? Hey, I remember I told you to pick that guy up in the desert?
Oh, yeah.
He told me it was Howard Hughes.
And then all of a sudden, I'm ready to go on a trip to Europe. And he says to me, did you see this guy, Melvin Dumar?
I'll be the first to congratulate you, Mrs. Dumar. A document believed to be Howard Hughes' will has been discovered, naming 16 beneficiaries, one of whom is Mr. Melvin Dumar.
Oh, my God.
And he says to me, this is a good idea for a movie. This guy, I said, it's a fraud. It's like, you know, he forged the wills. What's the movie? I don't get it. I'm telling you, I don't think he did.
Where's your memory?
Well, I don't know. He said he was Howard Hughes. I could have shown you identification. He looked like an old bum.
Right before I'm ready to leave, Melvin Dumar is on The Tonight Show. And I'm looking at him and I'm going, oh man, this is a ridiculous idea for a movie, but maybe, you know, maybe he's interested. So I call Don back. I go, okay, look, Don, I'm going to go to Europe. Here's the thing. Here's my American Express card number. You get Melvin Dumar and his people from Ogden, Utah, into a hotel, you know, on Los Angeles on my credit card, ready to talk. I'll come back from Europe. I thought I'd never hear from him again. I'm there. I'm in Paris like the third day. I get the call. Melvin's at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. His lawyer's in one room. He's in another. I went, okay. All right, Don. You're about to become a movie producer. We bought the rights. We hired Bo Goldman, who won the Oscar for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and he wrote the script. I went through a lot of permutations. At one time, Mike Nichols was going to direct it. But at the end, Mike got cold feet and didn't want to direct it. And when he walked away, we got Jonathan Demme, who nobody really was paying much attention to at that point in time.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Vegas.
You are, huh? You know, if you don't beat all strange old weirdo wino laying out in the middle of the desert, everybody driving by, nobody's even seeing you. If I pick you up, I put you in my truck, I'm taking you where it's safe, and what do? You give me a hard time, you rag me, you bug me.
Melvin and Howard is interesting as an early Jonathan Demme film because you can see the Demme touch, which is much more prominent in later films. You can just sort of see it more incidentally in this film, with the color scheme, with the music. With the kind of quirky, off-kilter kind of tone. Because it's based on a true story, you sense that it's grounded in a little bit more realism than we normally get from Jonathan Demme, who I think likes to kind of play fast and loose with pop culture in his films.
I think it's about dealing with people who can't quite focus on how society works. Is he counterculture? No, he's like kind of a lovable, pathetic loser whose life suddenly gets thrown into turmoil because of the event of having, you know, the reputed Howard Hughes will give him like $100-some-odd million. Was it ever true? Don't know. The real guy was in the movie in a cameo, kind of fascinating. It's about marginalization of people. I'm trying to claw into something different.
But now suppose we're ahead a few $100s. My God, think what we could do with a few $100.
Hey, how about try a few thousand on society?
What's interesting about the film is Demme's sensibility. Again, the use of music, the way he plays the hell out of Satisfaction in not one but two scenes. you know, and the quiz show scene is fantastic. Tap dancing to satisfaction. I mean, who would have ever thought of that? It makes me wonder if that really happened, given this is based on a true story, because it's not the kind of thing you would necessarily make up.
Well, I didn't do too much in the game show scene. I was just rooting, sitting in a chair. Mary Steenburgen did all the action. She had to dance and jump around, and you know, she was beautiful, charming, and she deserved the Oscar that she got.
I mean, you realize after a certain point this becomes a portrait of, you know, white trash characters scoring the American dream, which turns out to be completely vacant, worthless.
We are poor, Melvin. We're poor.
We're not poor, broke, maybe. We're not poor. We won the Golden Gate.
I won the Golden Gate.
Don't go. I don't want you to go.
C'est la vie, Melvin.
What's that?
It's French. I used to dream I'd be a French interpreter.
You don't speak French.
I told you it was a dream.
You know what this film really reminded me of? It reminded me of a Midnight Cowboy in a way. I really thought that Melvin was like a Midnight Cowboy kind of character, a bit like the John Voight character in Midnight Cowboy. The film runs the risk of patronizing him, you know, we know this guy's a loser. He's a loser who, you know, runs into Howard Hughes, and by the end of the film, potentially comes into all this money, but he knows and we know that no matter how much money he comes into, he'll always be a loser.
Are you married, Bonnie?
No, I'm not Melvin Dumar, and neither are you anymore.
Yeah.
So what do you say?
Did you meet the real Bonnie Dumar?
Yes, I did. I was shooting in the gas station, and the producer, Don Phillips, came around the corner, and he said, I was about to make an entrance, and he said, Pamela, Bonnie Dumar's here. And I looked at him and I went, I am Bonnie Dumar. Excuse me while I split this personality. So, you know, I did meet her, yeah. It was exciting.
Melvin, did you ever think a dream like this could come true?
Well, you know, when you dream about something, it's no problem, but
Melvin, everybody in this country thinks you're lying. How does that make you feel?
We understand.
When I was first cast as Melvin Dumar, it was suggested that I should meet him and talk to him, and I didn't like the idea because, although it's normal, you do want to meet, if you're playing a real person, you do want to meet the person you're playing. It's natural. You can get more information that way about how to play your part. But I was afraid that he was the liar that the news media had made him out to be.
You're a liar! You never saw Howard Hughes! You're a liar, Dumar! You never saw him! You never met him in his life! What?
It's going to make it harder for me to play his part that was written in the script, which was not a hustler, a con man, and a liar, but a person who had this experience, met this man that said he was Howard Hughes, and later found out this will came out that he had nothing to do with, and then had to defend himself in court.
Melvin, are you lying?
No, sir.
It got really, really shady there. I mean, Dumar is there with us, right? I'm drinking with the guy every night, right? And then I get to thinking about the film. You know, is this guy for real or what?
I want to tell you up front, I don't want any litigation questions.
The bad thing about that scheme in my mind, it got back to him, and it hurt his feelings. And years later, when I saw him, he mentioned that to me. Of all the things he said, you know, that was terrible. And he gave me a funny look. He said, how the producers didn't want you to meet me. And I said, well, you never know. You never know how producers are.
And of course, the more you got into the elements of this movie, the more interesting it became, because the more you realized that the guy wasn't smart enough to do the kinds of things he did. That's what made it so wonderful, even to the point where his name is spelled D-U-M-M-A-R, but he pronounces it Dumar, like it's French, Melvin Dumar. That's how he pronounces it. But in the will, it's written D-U, capital M-A-R, like it sounds. And now, if you knew Melvin, who was literally pumping gas when we saw him up in Ogden, he wouldn't even be, in doing the will, he wouldn't have misspelled his name. He himself couldn't have done that. Now, either Howard Hughes did it, because that's what you remember the guy's name sounded like, or somebody behind the scenes that is much bigger than Melvin Dumas came up with this concept. So it got so intriguing that we're going, okay.
Hello, Melvin.
Hi. How you doing?
All right. I just read a book about Hughes, and this guy actually existed, according to the writer of this biography of Hughes. And he supposedly did go to the gas station.
See that right there by the lake, that interstate, that's 15. I'll take you right into Vegas.
I was talking to this guy. He said if it take, I believe it was 89 and 60, south and across the line.
Listen, I'll be with you in a minute.
I said, Jonathan, what am I doing? I didn't read the script either, right? He goes, you're going to a gas station, you're going to deliver the letter, and then you're going to take a pack of cigarettes, and you're going to ask for a pack of cigarettes, and you're going to get back in a limo. How difficult could that be? I go, no, it's not difficult now that you told me. He goes, I know you didn't read the damn script, but that's what I want you to do. I said, okay, fine. I don't know whether it was his anti-smoking message or some subtle thing that had to do with the Mormon religion. I took the cigarettes and threw them out the window. And then he does a close-up of the wheel crushing the cigarette packs. Hughes only hired Mormons at the end. You know, the last several years of his life, it's the only people he trusted.
The approach we took with the script and with Jonathan Demme was that we were just going to tell Melvin's version as if it were true. We weren't going to get into the controversy about whether he was a forger or trying to trick anybody. And that would have been a different character to play. That would have been an interesting character to play, but I preferred playing it that he was honest and he didn't know what was going on. He just picked this guy up in the desert and he didn't know he was Howard Hughes.
I'm Howard Hughes.
Well, you know, listen, I believe anybody can call themselves whatever they want.
That's where I met Jason Robards. He's one of the best. God rest his soul. And Jason, he had a drinking problem, and he gotten drunk and hit a telephone pole and mashed his face all up, and everybody wrote him out. And that's what's interesting about this business. All of a sudden, he became like the lone silver-haired man in town without being a star, and he got it all back again. He quit drinking, and but I would go out with Jason, you know, and he'd go, nah, kid, go ahead. It ain't gonna bother me. You have a good time. You have a good time.
What did you say your name was?
Dumas. Melvin. First name.
You're kidding me, Melvin.
Well, Jason Robards and I had a lot of fun together. He's very creative.
Hey, listen, buddy.
I hit Jason Robards on the arm one time. I think it was a rehearsal. And then we used it again. Jonathan Demme said, that's great. And we used it in the movie because I just hit him because I was playing this enthusiastic character. But Jason, the artist that he is, he knew that he was supposed to be hurt.
Bye-bye, Blackbird.
There you go. There you go. Oh, sorry. Lay it on me, old-timer.
It wasn't in the script, you know, and that adds something.
Pack up all my cares and woe. Here I go, singing low. Bye-bye, Blackbird.
He was always coming up with little ideas that made it better. For instance, when I drop him off at this hotel in Las Vegas, in the script it says, he asks me for money, and I give him this change. That's what Melvin Dumas said happened. And with the way Jason told me he was doing it, his idea was he wasn't asking Melvin for money. He was asking him to see if he had money because he was thinking he was going to give him some money.
You got any money?
Well, here's something else.
And then when he was leaving, he looked kind of funny at me. I don't know, Jason was a great actor. And he could express things in a look that most actors can't express doing 2 hours on stage.
Take care of yourself, will you?
Thank you, Mel.
But he gave me this funny look, which made me want to pause and just look at him like, who is this crazy guy? And so I didn't drive off. I was supposed to drive off. And Jonathan Demme just kept letting the camera roll. And Jason, to his credit, he didn't walk off, because most actors would look at me and then I'd look at him kind of funny and he'd go, you know, walk off. But he didn't. He just kept looking at me like, well, you're kind of a weird guy too, you know. And then I was looking at him like, you're a little weird. And then finally I drove off. But Jonathan Demme, to his credit, he loved it. And that's a sign of an artist who's trying to make something worthwhile and trying to say something. That's what Jonathan Demme and Jason Robards were doing, and me too a little bit. Melvin and Howard was invited to the New York Film Festival, so it was a black tie event, which was kind of a crazy thing considering the type of movie it is. People had to wear black ties and gowns, and you know. At any rate, Jason was there, Melvin Dumar was there, his wife was there, and I said to him, you know, Melvin, this must be hard for you. That must be a hard experience for you to see this movie. And you know what he did? He cried. He started crying. And I thought, oh, that means the story's true. Because if it had been a lie, he would have said, oh, yeah, well, I'm used to it now, or, well, yes, I don't mind it so much, or something. But it was emotionally disturbing to him.
Nothing like the smell of the desert after the rain.
Grace Wood and Sage.
And I just heard recently there's a new book that corroborates his version. One thing is that Howard Hughes apparently told some people about this experience with this guy in a truck, picked him up in the desert. Possibly Melvin will be exonerated. I don't know that he'll get any money because I think it's all gone, but his name will be exonerated.
Pack up all my cares and woe. Here I go, singing low. Bye, bye, blackbird.